friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would talk you through a few of my favourite books that I feel are completely underhyped and should deserve some more love. I think a few of these might have had some hype when they originally came out, but they've now been out for a few years and the hype has died down completely and no one talks about them anymore because we all get distracted by new shiny books. And so I thought I should give these books some much deserved love and make you all read them because they deserve to be read. I thought I would start off by talking about Trudi Canavan and the Magician Guild, the Magician trilogy by her. I have only read this trilogy, which is a shame because she has so many books out and I really need to continue with reading her books. I just, like everyone else, get distracted by new shiny things and forget about Trudi Canavan and her massive backlist. I read this whole trilogy and it is so good, guys. It's so good. So you're following our main character Sonia, and she is an orphan. She doesn't know her heritage, and in this world, to be a magician, you sort of have to come from like an elite family. It's generally very male orientated. It's very elitist, and at the beginning of the book, there is a mob going on, and it's getting a bit violent, and so there's like the magicians there, and they're there just like to police the mob, and she ends up throwing a stone at them, and she has so much magic and power behind it that it goes through their magical barrier. And so because of this whole situation and the way it's all come about is that she is now enlisted into this magical school, so she's able to train and become a magician. And then it just goes from there, and you're in this magical school setting, which is just a trope that I love. I love going back to school and learning about magic in a school setting. It speaks to me, and the whole trilogy, it just gets better and better and better. Like if you want a new book which has a magical school setting and it's an adult book, then, well, I mean, at least in the UK this is sold in adult. I feel like it bridges the gap between YA and adult. It's very much in between the two demographics. Then I would really recommend this trilogy. And if you like it, then maybe read more of Trudi Canavan's books, like me, like I need to do. Then I have anything by the author Ryan Gordon, because she's written quite a few books now and I've loved all of them and I never hear anyone talk about her. And I don't know why. So I've read both her Wolf by Wolf duology and The Walled City. So this duology, it's set in an alternative reality where Germany won the Second World War and Adolf Hitler is the ruler of the world. And every year there is a motorcycle race across the country, and then you give them the opportunity to meet Hitler. And our main character she's going to take part in this competition and win the race so that she can kill him. And it's just so interesting to try and experience the world as though Hitler had won. Yeah, and then she has another book which is The Walled City, which is based on a real place in China. I can't quite remember the name, so I will put that on the screen. My knowledge of the history is not good. I remember researching it as and when I read the book. I've now forgotten the exact history of it, but it's like to do with this place that is completely walled in and everyone was stuck in this city for years. Like they just lived in this completely walled off city, which is so interesting, and you're following multiple perspectives of people in this city. And then she has another book which is like an alternative Titanic, which I haven't read but really want to. So Ryan Gordon deserves more love. And then I have Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen, and I'd recommend this for people that like Sarah J. Maas or fantasy romance because it really fits that demographic. You're following our main character Cecile, and she is taken under the mountain where trolls live, and she is forced into an arranged marriage with a troll, and she is there to try and break the curse. So the trolls need her. They are stuck under the mountain and they need her to break the curse on them, and the trolls are viewed as evil and bad, but the more time she spends with them, she realises that they're not that bad, they're just misconstrued, and it's really good, and the love interest is Swoony. And then this is a really like popular author that everyone loves and everyone talks about, but they never mention The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson. And what are you all doing? Why are you all passing on this book? I read this back in April because I found it in my charity shop, and it's so good, guys. I had such low expectations going into this because no one talks about it, but actually you all should read The Arithmetist. It's Brandon Sanderson writing YA. So in theory, I think that if you like his adult books, then you should like his YA books. You know the author, you should like, in theory, all of his work. And you're following our main character. Again, it's at a magic school, and he doesn't have magic, but he always wants to. He understands like all of the principles of magic, but unfortunately he doesn't have that power. And the power in this world is that you can draw in chalk, and your chalk will come to life. And it's got little drawings throughout, so you can see like they have jewels in chalk. Really, really good. It's really well written. It's really interesting. Like, I love the characters in this, and it's currently a standalone, but it's going to be a series, and the ending definitely leads up to be a series. And please go and read this, and then hopefully the more and more people read it, then Brandon Sanderson will prioritise the second book, because it really deserves it, and it's so good, guys. You're all sitting on this. Go read it. Don't forget about Rhythm of War, but like, enjoy Rhythm of War, and then you might want some more Brandon Sanderson because you're feeling deprived after reading that massive book, and you can read this, and it's really quick, and it's only 370 pages. You'll get through it in a couple of days. Come on. Another author, like a whole author that I think you're all sitting on and ignoring, I've never heard anyone mention her on BookTube, is Eva Ebertson. And I read her books. I haven't read them in a few years, but I read her books as a child, well, not as a child, like as a teenager, and I've read them multiple times. And she has unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but she's written so many books. Like, I was reading her from childhood with her Witch books, which are just amazing books for children. And then as a teenager, I was reading, she has a whole series of books which are all standalones, and you're following a main character. It generally has an influence of either Austria or Germany, which is where she was originally from, during the Second World War. There's generally like a romantic pairing at the end. Like, they're great historical fictions. I want everyone to love Eva Ebertson because she's so underlooked, and I absolutely loved her books as a teenager, and I need to reread them again as an adult, but I reread them so many times. I then have the Falconer series by Elizabeth May, which is it's set in Scotland, and you're following this main character, and she is a fairy killer. So she is out to kill fairies as fairies killed her family when she was younger, and so she's training to just battle them all, whilst also trying to fit into society. I would again recommend this for people that like Sarah J. Maas, because there is a romance in this which is very swoony, and I don't feel as though this gets enough love. And if you really like things set in Scotland, then this is very Scottish. It's got great influences of Edinburgh and will make you feel like you are in Edinburgh. I would then like to recommend Tasha Suri, and she has the Empire of Sand, Books of Amber duology, and this is an Indian inspired fantasy, and you're following a main character, Mare, and she is stuck between two cultures. So her father is from like the aristocracy, whereas her mother is from the nomadic people that have the power to like call down the dreams of the gods. And because of the aristocracy are repressing these people, and one day she uses this power and brings down like the wrath of the king, and he forces her into an arranged marriage. I would describe this like as an Indian fantasy with, I guess, quite a strong focus on the romantic elements. It needs more love. Like, I don't think I've read very many Indian inspired fantasies, and so this is just a great one to get more into the Indian culture. And I really like the way it's all weaved in together, like into this fantasy world. It's just got great cultural representation. The final series that I would like to recommend that I think deserves some more love, I don't have the first book with me, but the Queen of the Tearling series by Erica Johansson. This is the second book, and I think this was relatively well hyped back in 2014 when it first came out, but since then it's just been not forgotten, but like less and less people talk about it as the years have gone by. and I just want to reaffirm that this is a great series and you should all go and read it. You're following our main character Kelsey, and she is the queen of this land. At the beginning of the book, she's 19 and she's been raised away from the kingdom, with her uncle having taken control and ruled as a regent for 19 years. And she's just raised as a normal child out in the wilderness, knowing that when she comes of age at 19 that she will have to go back to the city and take control of the land. And the land is it's struggling. Like there's a warring kingdom just across the border, which is getting stronger and stronger, and so they're having to pay a tithe of slaves every month to that queendom. And yes, it's just a really great epic fantasy book which has a really interesting twist. So the first book, it is very much an epic fantasy, but in the second book it sort of has this twist, and I won't say too much on it because it is a twist, but it really just flips a lot of tropes on their head, and it's very interesting. I found it very interesting. I was like, oh my god, I did not see that like element coming into it. So I would highly recommend this. I would say that Kelsey can become a little bit unlikable, so if you don't like unlikable protagonists, then maybe this won't be for you, but I found her like a very interesting, complex character, and it's got very strong female characters in this. And I believe that Erica Johansson has a new book coming out next year, so I'm very excited to get to that. I hope I've been able to show you some books that you may not have heard of, or books that you have heard of but haven't heard many people mention, and I really do hope that you go and pick these up because they do deserve all the love. And I mean, I can definitely say that I read what's hyped, and I do need to focus on more unknown or underhyped reads, because there must be hidden gems out there that I have not read, and I really need to just stop following the hype. Let me know if you have read any of these, or if you're going to pick any of these up based on what I've said. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!